Hi, I'm Stacy Hart, Borough Councillor for Hatch Warren and Beggarwood, and I'm out canvassing today in Majestic Road and Royal Close, and I stopped to make a short video because residents have asked why I abstained on the vote at Thursday's full council meeting to amend the budget to reinstate the top of town free hour-long parking. So happy to explain my decisions as always. So I thought I would take a little break from canvassing to stop and do this in the lovely Hatch Warren Community Centre playing fields. If I sound a little bit like Honor Blackman, it's an affliction we call canvasser's voice, or I do anyway. So Thursday, the full council meeting was budget council, like basically laying out the spending plans for the next 4 years for us to vote on. Those plans have obviously been worked on for months and months and months. Councillors can, on the evening, bring amendments to the budget. So what we do is we hear the amendments and we debate and discuss those, and then we vote on them, and if they get voted down, then they're not added into the budget, and if they get voted yay, then they are, and then we vote on the budget as a whole. So it's a long old night and a lot of process. In fact, I seconded one of the 3 amendments that was brought on Thursday, separately to that. So in regards to the 3 hour-long parking, that was something that the Independent and Lib Dem administration that I'm now part of removed a while back because we felt that there was less of a need for it. Obviously, you know, revenue's got to come from somewhere. Parking is not something that any of us like paying for, but we have services that we need to provide. The top of town has, I think, you know, long lost the majority of the stuff that made the 1 hour parking necessary. The post office is gone. You know, some of the banking's gone. There's only like one bank left up there. All of the businesses now up there, they're either, you know, you sit and you have a haircut, or you have a meal, or you know, you're browsing, shopping. We want people to spend time, money, keep the town centre thriving. So that decision was taken in conjunction with the businesses in town. The administration meets, the relevant portfolio holders and the leader meet with the sort of the forum of businesses there, and ask them what they need, what they want, what will support their trading the most. And they wanted us to prioritise free parking in the evenings to support the nighttime economy, which, you know, up until fairly recently has been quite poor. So that decision, you know, was taken. And then on Thursday, this amendment was brought in, which asked us to amend the budget to take £360,000 out of the town centre clean-up budget, basically, to put that 3 hours parking back. Now that clean-up budget, obviously, you know, that's been something that we've done, work that we've decided to spend money on, that has really revitalised the town centre. There's been, you know, jet washing of everything. A Willis has been cleaned up. There's been, you know, planters painted and benches painted, and it just looks and feels so much nicer up there now, and so much more attractive, and a place you want to spend your time and your money, and then go out into the community and see, you know, see people. And it's been a really part of a really successful clean-up programme that this council has done, and the results of footfall has really, you know, borne that out. So we were debating this amendment, you know, for £90,000 a year over 4 years that the budget runs for, to come out of that budget and go into the free parking. And I think that debate, you can watch it, you know, back on the YouTube video, really kind of indicated that most of the chamber, or a majority, certainly sort of felt the same way, that it wasn't something that they were willing to do, to take money out of that budget to put in the free parking again, when we didn't really feel that there was an overwhelming need for it. So at the last minute, the proposer and the seconder of that amendment said, yeah, all of a sudden, actually then, all right, let's take it out of the risk reserve instead, which essentially is like the money that we put away for if the roof collapses, rainy day sort of a thing, and do it over 1 year instead. So £90,000 for 1 year of that. That last minute swerve, it was kind of a mess. It was kind of all over the place, and I don't think it's like how we should be deciding important 4-year council budgets. It's just, we should be spending just a little bit more time and thought on this sort of thing, I think. It just felt a little bit not something I was comfortable with, doing it that way. Now I did obviously, as I said earlier, second an amendment to the budget that night as well. Comparisons were made between the two on the night, and I think that they were sort of comparing apples and oranges a little bit. The amendment that Councillor Basham put in that I seconded was for it was for less money. It was less than half, £40,000 a year over 4 years, and that was to buy 10 speed indicator devices, the smiley face devices that you see to get people to speed down on the roads. And the money to sort of staff the moving around of them, which you've got to do every 2 to 6 weeks to keep them effective. And the proposer had gone about it slightly differently as well. Before putting the amendment in, he'd done all the maths on it, obviously, and he had approached the Section 151 officer who is in charge of the budget and responsible for council finances. He'd approached the relevant portfolio holder and the council leader, and kind of gotten everyone's buy-in, basically, and worked with the Section 151 officer to do it in a way that wasn't going to be taking money out of other essential places. And he'd done all that in advance. So although it was overwhelmingly agreed with on the night, we were really, really pleased with the amount of support it had in the chamber. He'd also sort of ensured that was there. This just kind of appeared a couple of days in advance, and I don't believe that it was done in the same way, although I can't swear to it, I'm not always right. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I don't believe it did happen that way. So that last minute sort of swerve of an argument when it feels like you might be losing it sort of was an uncomfortable methodology for me on this one. So I didn't agree that we should spend the money, but we had seconds to decide, once the sort of the change had been made, to actually let's do it this way instead. And I thought in that moment that at the very least, if my council colleagues here, we are a collective. It's not just for me to make these decisions, and many of the people in that chamber are far more experienced than me. If they think that this is something that we should do in its amended version, then at least it's a year, and we will get a year of data out of the uptake on it, which will indicate what course of action we should potentially take next year when this inevitably raises its head again. I can't imagine that it won't. So I chose to abstain. And along with, I think, 4 of my chamber colleagues, 17 people voted no and 23 voted yes. So it did go through. It was passed, but not by a huge margin. And was added to the budget, which was then voted through later on in the evening. So that's the sort of the why of my thinking on it. I would love to be able to give free parking to all car parks in the town centre and everywhere else that we run all the time. But when you have a limited pie, you have to pick and choose what is in the residents' best interests. Nobody's going to agree on what that is 100% of the time, of course, but you have to make those choices. You have to think about what will keep the town centre thriving, what the businesses tell us that they need, and that's what we have gone with as an administration previously, and I think why people voted as they did on the night, and the evidence for that is in the footfall. The top of town was run down and kind of and empty not that long ago, and so that was it. That was the why. Apologies if that was a bit of a long waffle, although it was a nice sunny day for it at least. not raining on me today. So as ever, I am here for your feedback and to explain my thoughts on any vote at any time. I know we won't always agree, that's the nature of it, but hopefully we can at the very least keep it honest and open, keep the dialogue going and respect each other. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.